We're gonna get our acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we'll be going over a 2022 BMW 330i xDrive. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW here of Pleasant Grove, Utah for giving me some time with this 3 Series. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below where you guys can check this one out. It is available for sale right now. And something that's awesome about the BMW of Pleasant Grove is they do not charge any markups over MSRP. A lot of BMW dealers are just going crazy with their pricing lately. So if you want to buy a new BMW at MSRP with no markup, definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 34 on the highway, with power outputs being 255 horsepower and then 294 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go with the front end of the 3 Series. So first off, you guys can see here with the BMW logo there in the center, pretty normal stuff. And we've got these really nice distinctive body lines on the hood, and I love this metallic white. Now it's pretty crazy because with most cars, when you have white paint, you really can't see the body lines, but they still pop out quite a bit with this car. Coming down below, you guys can see here with the daytime running lights and the LED headlamps, definitely a cool distinctive look. And then you can see we've got parking sensors integrated into the front end. We also have our fog light right here off to the side, kind of hard to see because of the lighting right there. And then look at this, we have a pretty normal looking grille. We've got nice chrome trim around it. It's blacked out in the center portion, and then we have more blacked out trim here at the bottom portion. And yeah, overall I think this is a really good looking car from a front end perspective. Now coming on the side here, you've got two 25mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And like I said, this is an xDrive, so this does have all-wheel drive. And then notice here with the trim on the wheel itself, you can see silver trim all around, but then notice that it's kind of blacked out behind that, so it gives it a really cool distinctive appearance. You'll kind of notice it a little bit more when you take a few steps back. You can see how much the wheels actually pop out. And then notice here how the fender has been molded. It seems like this is like a car industry thing to just make it like flat there with the bodywork on like every single car's fender. And then notice here with the mirrors, you've got the white on the top, the black on the bottom. You can see you've got a sunroof there at the top, and then all the trimmer on the windows is also black. And now that we take this view back, you guys can now see with the wheels absolutely pop. So here's our key fob for the 3 Series. You got the unlock function, the lock function, then the opening here for the trunk. And I love how it's the BMW logo to lock. It just looks cool. Now actually popping here into the trunk area, you guys will notice we've got this net here off to the side, and then we've got some more storage space, another net off to the other side. Now the 3 Series is not a massive car, but you can see storage space is actually pretty practical back here. And when you're all done, you just gotta lower it down. Pretty simple. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. So you can see we've got this really low profile spoiler here on the back. We have our xDrive logo, and then I love the new taillights for the 3 Series. I think that looks great. Parking sensors here on the back, and then normal BMW logo. And then you guys can see we've got exhaust tips on either side. Again, kind of lends to the sporty theme of it, and there you go. So here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see we've got this really nice red leather, and I think it contrasts perfectly to the white paint on this particular 3 Series. And then I love how the speakers kind of like sculpt there into the door panel. And then here are the seats again with the red leather perforated down the center portion, and the seatbelts are black to contrast, which is actually pretty cool. Now popping in, I do need to mention that the seat is pushed back a little bit. This is more accurate for like legroom here in the rear. You guys can see the climate controls there with the USBs. And we have our cool cup holder armrest situation right here, which is pretty neat. There we go. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You can see again with the red leather, and then I've always been a fan of BMW's new door handles. These look really cool. Memory seats, the mirrors do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring, so we've got quite a bit of cool safety tech. That opens up the trunk. We have our M logo right here, and then here's the front seat again with the red leather perforated down the center portion. Adjustments here on the side of the seat, and then the pedals always look nice on BMWs. And then you've got your light controls right here. Steering wheel has some paddle shifters there in the back, and let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. You can see really nice leather trim all around the steering wheel. You got the heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel, which I really appreciate. I wish more car manufacturers would actually do that. Stitching here in the center, which matches. And then you guys can see you've got some like practical controls for like the voice commands, for example. Paddle shifters here on the back, cruise control. Turn signal stock pretty normal, and then windshield wiper stock. And also notice the stitching around the airbag cover. Just makes it look really nice and premium. Okay, so sorry about this shot. I understand that like half of the gauge cluster is kind of gone because of the glare, but basically that just shows the fuel and then the range we have left. And then over here we've got the RPMs, and this is BMW's signature digital gauge cluster, which I'm a huge fan of. When you change the different drive modes, it actually can change like how the gauge cluster looks. So like look at Eco Pro mode, for example, and then Sport, how it gets like red and aggressive. Comfort's just kind of normal, but yeah, really cool gauge cluster, and also the fact that it has the map in the center I think is pretty cool. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, if we pop into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution super solid. Parking sensors front and rear, like I showed you guys earlier. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, we have a shortcut bar. Try to say that 10 times in a row, shortcut bar. Here on the sides you can go through different bits of info like on the car, navigation, media, all that kind of stuff. Overall response time with the screen is fantastic. It's easy to use and I'm a fan. Now this is a shortcut to the safety tech. You got your hazard lights right here, and then you guys can see we've got our dual zone climate controls just down below with our heated seats as well. And then we have our analog controls here for the radio presets, and you can hover over the buttons and it'll actually go onto the screen, which is pretty cool. And we've got some more storage space here. So you guys can see this whole setup right there. Got a USB 12 volt, some cup holders, and then you can just cover it up and it's nice wood trim. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. We've got our stability control here, parking sensors, auto stop start, the engine stop button, and then we've got our drive mode select. I like how you have an individual button for each drive mode. I know that it, you know, might make more sense from like a space perspective to just put like a dial or something, but like I like that I can just press and then go into the drive mode rather than having to scroll through a huge menu. And then you got your auto hold, parking, brake, and then this also controls the infotainment system. So if you don't want to use the touchscreen, you can also just use this dial. And pretty normal with the center console, another USB inside of there. Got the glove box right here, also pretty normal setup. And then notice the wood trim here, and then it is soft touch on the dash. And guess what? We have a sunroof. It's fully power for the shade and the roof. Got the control for it right there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a huge car, so you don't need like a massive sunroof. And then also, here's the mirror. So here's a window sticker for this 330i. You guys can see the base price, $43,450. And this does have quite a few options and some credits as well. But before we get into the total price, I want to show you guys the warranty on it. We have a 4-year, 50,000 mile new vehicle warranty. And then notice the other warranties associated with it as well. Anyways, total MSRP, $50,520. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both mirrors, which again do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off here in the 330i. Sorry, I'm lowering down my seat because it was set a little bit too high for me. But you know, I'm gonna be the first to say and be completely honest that I was not necessarily a huge fan of BMWs in the past, but after getting some seat time with quite a few as some press cars and now reviewing quite a few of these at the BMW Pleasant Grove, I actually am starting to really like the brand because I've really gotten a feel for just the driving dynamics with different models, interior feel, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, overall I really like it actually. So first off, with the 330, feels like a 3 Series. So, you know, things with the 3 Series is, first off, it's really comfortable from a ride quality perspective. What is this person doing? It's really comfortable from a ride quality perspective. So it's a great, just, you know, comfortable luxury daily driver. And then seat comfort's great. So like it accomplishes the luxury car stuff. And again, I've got it in the comfort setting right now, which is probably what you're gonna drive it in most of the time right on your daily commute. You know, obviously let's put it into Eco Pro and see how that feels. You could do Eco Pro and that's gonna, you know, basically, you know, help out with getting slightly better fuel economy. This does have, you know, a mild hybrid setup is what we could call it. BMW's pretty much set that up with all of their powertrains, and the reason they've done that is to essentially make it so that their cars can get slightly better fuel economy, but then also have better performance, right? Less turbo lag, all that, which it's really genius technology. And I think that's why Land Rover is using BMW engines in all their vehicles now. If you don't know that, if you look at Land Rover's 4-cylinder, it's this engine. Their inline 6, it's a BMW engine. Their new turbocharged 4.4 liter V8, it's also a BMW engine. So BMW knows what they're doing, and so Land Rover's buying their engines now. But yeah, so far, really comfortable driving experience. So we're gonna get our acceleration here. It actually sounds really good for a 4-cylinder. I don't care if that noise is piped in or not. It sounds good, if you ask me. Now, the thing that's interesting is there is such a big difference between the sport mode and the eco pro mode. A lot of cars, they'll have like an eco mode and a sport mode and this mode and that mode, and there's not really a huge difference. This, like, there is a substantial difference in throttle response and just the overall feel of the car. It's really cool how it actually drives different in the different drive modes. Like, there's quite a bit of a lag here. Like, look, okay, that was like full throttle. You guys can see it was like a few seconds before anything happened. Now, popping it into sport mode, if I do the same thing, there's, you know, obviously it's got a downshift and everything, but there is not nearly as much lag. So it's cool that there's like a difference with the drive modes, and so like this would actually help you get better fuel economy, which is pretty cool. So maybe this is the daily driver mode to use, so you can just kind of coast along. But yeah, let's sum things up here with this new 3 Series. You guys know I've already reviewed the new M340i. Hopefully I'm getting the name right. BMW has so many different letters and numbers and all that kind of stuff that it's hard to keep track of all of it. I try my best. But you know, this obviously is kind of just below that, because that one has the inline 6, this one has the 4-cylinder, right? So I guess the real question is, should you get this or should you get, you know, the M Sport, the M340i? Here's what I'd have to say is this looks just as good as the M Series car, right? It's not an M car, but an M Series car. Interior looks just as nice as well. You've got like all the same tech. And you know, from an acceleration perspective, no, it's not as quick. I love that inline 6. It's a super powerful engine. It's one of the best engines of all time. But that being said, this is adequate from a power perspective. It's got more than enough punch to it. You're going to get great fuel economy with this from a daily driver perspective. And so really, if you're not going to go all out with the driving, if you just want like a really good sports sedan that's comfortable, that's going to get good fuel economy and looks great, that's what this gives you. And you know, obviously it's more affordable as well, so if you want to be able to save a little bit of money. So yeah, I'm impressed with this new 3 Series. You know, especially in this segment, this is a really good value play, and it's a very nice car. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 330i. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW of Pleasant Grove, Utah for giving me some time with this 330. Check out their inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in the next video.